Okay, this is Red Osment from Osment Produce, and I am going to be bringing you a new After Effects tutorial. This is going to be the first part of my whole After Effects tutorial series that I'm starting. This will cover muzzle flashes, bullet hits, blood hits, some 3D stuff, explosions, all that good stuff. So, this is the effect that we will be creating. Alright, a little closer. As you can see, that looks pretty good. As you've noted, you can see we got the whole muzzle over in there. You see, you got the muzzle flash, you got the shell going, you got the sparks, the smoke, all that good stuff. See, and what we got here are some I like to say personalized muzzle flashes. They're really not. If you watch film and cinema and stuff, or even actual gun videos, you will see that the muzzle flash does not look at all like the muzzle flashes do in the Action Essentials pack. They look a lot more like this, and I will be including a link to where you can get these. And I might even upload them to a mega upload page so you can get them for free. So, I mean, I paid for, I didn't really pay for them. I cheated and got them for free, but don't tell anybody. Okay, so, now we are going to bring okay, so we're going to bring this into a new comp. We're going to close that comp because we don't need that. As you see, this is the base video, which is a lot longer. Yeah, nothing really happening in there. So, we're going to close the work area and the composition to just here, so that it's not loading as more video than it should be. So now all we have is in there, shooting the gun, and stopping. Now, normally what you would want to do, especially when using an airsoft gun, is use the sound of the gun as a cue for when he begins firing. That's what I normally try to do. But with my new camera, it records audio, but it records as a MTA file, I believe it is. No, not MTA. Whatever it is, it's some form of file that After Effects doesn't like. So, MTS, I believe it is, actually. So, there would be no sound, but I seem to remember he begins firing about here. So, we are now going to begin to import our other files. Now, this isn't going to be like some tutorial showing you tools. Well, actually, it may show some tools. But, alright, I'm going to go into the documents. Now, this is, I believe it's this one. You see. Yes, this is it. So we are going to bring that file up onto there. Now, as you can see, there is just a big black solid color over the video. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to go in here. Okay, so you're going to select that, you right click, go to blending mode, and screen. Now that first one's tiny, so see, the first few are very small, so probably not going to use those. So we're going to find the exact point in time where these begin. We're going to want to get the bigger ones in there. There we go. Alright. Alright. believe he said. He fires right about... Right, he's already been firing, so... Right there. So we're going to bring that over there. Going to, once again, select the image, right click, and now we go to transform and flip horizontal. Now you may want to rotate that just a bit so that it fits in there better. And there you go. That's the whole Muzzle Flash tutorial. Thank you for watching. Like, favorite, and subscribe. There you go. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, you guys can see the time thing. You can tell that this isn't over. I just felt like doing that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that that is the only frame from this that is showing. So we're going to select that layer, push Alt, and bracket. As you can see, now that whole layer is just that one frame. Nothing else. Okay. So now we have that, and that looks pretty good. So now what we are going to want to do is we're going to want to make it look better. So you're going to go up here into your effects and presets. You're going to type in glow. If you can't find that layer, if you can't find this menu, what you want to do is you go into window, and then right there this says effects and presets. You're going to want to make sure that is checked, because that's how you can tell that this is up. So we're going to go and bring down this glow from stylize. Put that on there. Now as you can see, that looks very fake. Want to bring that up to 100%. Now you're just going to want to mess around with this until you get kind of what you want. If I remember, the number that we used on that was 263. Man, we cranked up the intensity a bit. I think the intensity was at 6.6. Just gonna put in. Now, you could... Now, some people like to composite the original on top, but it doesn't look quite as good to me. You could also not composite. I like putting it behind. As you see, there's also different ones you can use. You can use screen if you don't want it to be as bright. You can use that if you want it to be brighter. Multiply makes it darker. None, you just get that. Dissolve leaves it mostly the same with a little bit of brightness. So what we want to use is add. Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to use. Like I said, you're just going to want to tweak with this until you find something that you like. Now, we're only going to focus on this very first Muzzle Flash because all the other ones are just going to be basically the same thing. So see, now you have this nice looking single flash. Bam. And bam. Okay, so now that that's all that we got, none too impressive, but we will make it look better. Okay, so now you're going to want to bring in your shells. Now, I'll include a link to some shells that you can get for free. No, it's not there, it's in downloads. I don't even know why I clicked on that. I feel stupid now. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go into here, and then you're going to go there. Now I'm using the 2K version, otherwise it would just say After Effects 720p, and you would not see down convert. But, oh, and once again, well, actually not once again, but you've probably heard this from a lot of other people. Never use the thumbnails for compositing. Here, I'll show you why. As you see, this is just to give you an idea of what each hit is. If you see, watch, let me open it. You see, there's no alpha in that. It just shows you what it looks like with a blue background. Do not not try and use that for compositing because it will not work unless you are willing to blue screen that, and that is incredibly dark. It will be very hard to blue screen and just won't look good. So we're going to go down to here to shells. And there's two different types of shells in here. There's the 45 cal, there's the 8mm. The 45 cal shell is for pistols, so we will not be using this. The 8mm shell is for a rifle cartridge. Now we're going to bring that onto the video. As you can see, it starts off blurry. You just want to find a nice starting point that looks pretty good. So now trimming it to end is the trimming where the beginning is going to be is the exact same as trimming the end, except instead of alt end bracket, it is alt begin bracket. So now we're going to flip this the same way that we flipped the last one, except a little different. Actually, I don't even think we need to flip this. We're going to do it just to be sure. So instead of flipping horizontal, however, we will flip vertical and then flip horizontal. Transform, flip horizontal. And it doesn't really matter what order you do that in, it's just the order I do it. Now the good thing about finding one from the side is you see exactly how long this shell is going to be. As you see, that is a little bit bright. It's not quite the exact color of a shell. So, if you're picky, like I am, you're going to want to do this. Okay, because, now, it may not seem that bad right now, but, as you see, it's a little brown. You don't want that. You want it to be a nice, perfect, golden color. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our curves. Now, you don't need to use curves. You can also use levels, but I prefer curves. We're just going to brighten it up a bit so that you get a nice golden color. Okay. Look at that beautiful, sexy face. Alright. So, while our actor over here is looking awesome, we are going to keyframe our shell. Now, I like to keep auto keyframing on, but most people don't like that. So, what you would do is we go into transform and make sure position and scale have it there, and rotation are all. Well, you don't need to do rotation. This is if you're going to do a custom rotation on this, but in order to do that, you would have to freeze it, which you would have to freeze the frame, which we're not going to worry about doing here because we're not doing any custom rotations. So you're just going to want to make sure that position and scale both have the darkening around them. See, if they don't have that, you can't keyframe. When they do have that, you do keyframe. So that, remember, that's, you click the arrow on that layer, and you go into transform, and then rotation and scale, and make sure the little stopwatch is ticked, because that is what makes sure that we can keyframe. So now that that's now I like to add a little bit of blur before, so make that a little longer, bring that there, and then shorten that keyframe. As you see, that's blurred. But we're not going to have blur on right now as we are keyframing. So now you got that, bring that out just a bit. Now, each frame you want it to go the same distance. And remember, gravity starts working on it almost the second that it makes it out of there. Now, a good way to figure out how long it's going to take for these to get to the ground is to watch actual gunshot videos, or shoot a gun in real life. So, and then we get that, we're going to go one frame forward and bring it down. yes, and we're going to want to make that clip shorter so that it's not still loading it down there, which will slow down the comp. Now that looks like a whole lot of dreadful shit. I guess technically you could do that, but that does not really look all that good. So what we're going to want to do is put motion blur on for that. It's a bit slow, but that's okay. Now we are going to put the finishing touches on, which is a layer of smoke. So we're going to want to go back. Well, I don't know where your file location is, but this is where mine is. And let's see. This might take me a second to find it, as it's like finding this thing. Now, if you're trying to open up a RAR, it will say that, but we are not putting the RAR in there. We're going to open the RAR. And now, done. So now we have this RAR file open. Now we're just gonna import one of these real quick. And give it a second. My computer is being slow as I'm recording this with Fraps. So now we're gonna bring that shot in. We're gonna put it on top. Now as you can see, this is the same thing as that. We are going to have to go into there and set a screen blending mode on there. Okay. And that looks very good. But of course it does look a little bad as there's no sound, so you can always put a gunshot sound in there just so you can see how this will look. But you're never going to want to render out your gunshot sound as you use, well, at least I don't, because I just use placeholder sound effects from Action Essentials, as the sound effects in here are not the greatest. I'm not sure how their bit speeds are, but they're not the best sounding sounds. So I just use them for placeholding sounds. Now, here, we'll just use that. Okay, and also with these, there's a bit of lag in them, so you're going to want to set them just a little bit before. If you do use these, you're going to want to set them just a little bit before there. So you can see, they're not the best sounds. But now you can see that you got a good looking video. So there will be your finished product, which that has this has curves and stuff added to it. So basically what you're going to do for all these other muzzle flashes is you're just going to repeat the same steps over and over again. That's the beauty of compositing a muzzle flash. It takes forever. But there you have it. A good looking muzzle flash that isn't the Action Essentials muzzle flashes. Because don't get me wrong, the Action Essentials muzzle flashes look great, but they're not particularly realistic. At least the starred ones aren't. And they are the most recognizable overused things in the world. Like, you see a muzzle flash, you instantly think Action Essentials, and then that distracts from the rest of the video. This isn't really going to distract from the video, especially if once you get rid of that orange tip, which the orange tip removal will probably be, see that? Now you can get rid of that digitally, which I usually do, and that will be in the next tutorial. So, once again, I am Red Osmond from Osmond Produce. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you at the next tutorial. Comment, like it if you liked it. Suggest me some more tutorials. I have some ones that are planned, but I would also love to see some other ones. And good day to you all.